For a long time now, I've been told that to make good latte art, you need to have an expensive espresso machine with an expensive steam wand. But I want to see whether that's really true. My name's Luke, I'm a uni student, and I want to find out whether you can make latte art on a budget using a whisk, as opposed to an espresso machine with a steam wand. Now, I bought my whisk from AliExpress. It was a £5. It's very cheap, it does the job though. It's got 3 speed settings, and that's about it. The steam wand is a steam wand on the Breville Barista Mini. It's 1 tip compared to some other cafes that have maybe 3 or 4, so it probably steams milk quite slow, but it does what it needs to do. So that's the equipment I'm working with. Now today I'm going to measure the efficiency of each thing based on 3 metrics: speed, ease, and quality. Quality being how good the milk texture is and how good the latte art is at the end of the pour. Now of course, if you've seen any of my other videos, do go and have a look at those. I'm not a professional at latte art, but I am learning, and I do think I've got enough experience to be able to judge which one is better. So without further ado, subscribe if you want to see more like this, like the video if you're enjoying so far, and let's have a look at which one's better. Okay, so starting off with the whisk. Slightly frustrating that I had to go to another room for this one and had to use the microwave, but that's alright. And then we start here with the aeration, and this just happened so fast, completely out of the blue. Hold it in there at the top, introduce some air into it before you sort of churn those bubbles into it and make it a nice microfoam texture. But as I say, the aeration just happened so fast, it was just baffling to me. Okay, now onto the all-important pour for the whisk. I was a bit worried here because of how thick it was, and you can see the milk just sort of drop into it there. No sort of smoothness to it whatsoever. And then I attempt the latte art and nothing appears on the surface apart from sort of a tiny blob, which was just, it just wasn't it, really. I mean, look at that. What has gone on there? Okay. So here we go, we have the whisked latte here. Initial impressions, the latte art it's just not there. However, the milk textured okay. It aerated very, very quickly compared to what I thought it would. Of course, you've got those 2 stages anyway, but with the steam wand, I think that's a bit more controlled, whereas with the whisk, it sort of did it and it was very, very quick. However, here we are, we're going to give it a try, see what the texture's like. Even when I went to take a sip, I could hear the bubbles fizzing because it was just full of massive bubbles, and even though I was swilling it, I was struggling to break those down. It tastes alright, and the milk is creamy, but the foam just didn't foam, and the latte art just isn't there. So I'm afraid it's a low score from the whisk. And in terms of scoring, for ease, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. There was nothing that could have gone wrong really. Nothing difficult. You just hold it above it so that it gets some air in, hold it below so it whisks it around, and all I did at the start was just put it in the microwave. In terms of quality, probably a 3. The latte art was a bit terrible and the texture's just not there. But in terms of speed, it's a mixed bag on this one. The microwave took about a minute, and then the actual frothing of the milk was really quick. So I think it's going to be a mixed bag on this one. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Let's see how the steam wand fares on the latte art this time. Okay, so now we come on to the steam wand, and I'm a bit better at this one, I think. You sort of hold it above the milk so that it can get a bit of air in. And then once you think you've got enough air, you hold it down, and then I usually know when to stop because the outside of the jug gets really hot. So it tells you when the milk is ready to be poured. I think I got a bit more air in than I wanted to here, and then I even added a bit more later on. But here we come to the all-important pour, and this one was a lot more successful. You can see here, we started getting shapes almost instantly, but I think my milk was quite runny here, which shows like the steam one can still be quite inconsistent. Okay, here it is, the moment that we've all been waiting for, the steam wand latte. And I'm not going to tilt it, but the art on this one is so much better, don't get me wrong. I spilled milk on the floor and the texture that I did wasn't the greatest, but I'll tell you what, it's very smooth on the top and I've got some sort of pattern on there. It's one of the best I've done, in fact, and I'm not a connoisseur of latte art, but I'd say that was pretty decent. So let's have a taste. I mean, the texture's just so much better. It's a lot more even, it's a lot creamier, it's a lot more smooth. And again, the pour was fantastic. So already for quality, it's going to get a 9, let down by 1 point because of my lack of skill. But instantly it's so much creamier, so much smoother, so much more rich, which is fantastic. That's just what I wanted. And the art on the top is nice, so for quality it's getting a 9. For ease, it takes more skill using the steam wand than just shoving the whisk in and hoping for the best. However, I don't think it's too hard to pick up, and I didn't have to go to the other room and microwave it. So for ease, it's going to get a 4. But then for speed, it's pretty quick, to be honest. Compared to having to wait for the microwave and all of that, it's pretty quick, but again, sort of middling, I would say. So I'm going to give it a 5. Okay then, so to summarise, we've made both drinks now, we've scored both of them. So let's have a look and see how they compare with each other. For a start, we've got 2 numbers that are the same here, which is speed. Both of them got in the middle, straight 5s. Reasons for this being that the whisk, it was quick to do once you were there, but in terms of waiting for the microwave and whatnot, it got points knocked off for that. And then for the steam wand, it was quick, but again, you've got to spend time rolling that milk and rolling that milk and rolling that milk until it's warm enough and nice enough to be able to pour with. Next, moving on to ease. The steam wand on here got a 4 just because of the skill that it takes to use it, although I'm not calling myself skilled. And then the whisk got a 9 simply because all you have to do is just stick it in and pray. So I would say that the whisk wins on that one, even though moving on to quality, it just wasn't there. The latte art that it poured in the end was pretty rough compared to the steam wand, which did an alright job. I think the only bottleneck there was me. So the whisk just gets a 3 for quality. It was just awful. It was just full of massive bubbles. It wasn't particularly nice to drink, whereas the steam one just created that even nice consistency just through rolling that milk. It was silky smooth, had that look of wet paint at the end, and that's what you want really. So all in all, big fan of the steam wand. So to round this up then, is it worth getting a whisk or using a steam wand? Considering the price of the machine, I mean, your espresso machine probably comes with one anyway. For terms of espresso, it does an okay job. It makes lattes that you drink and, you know, they're not too bad compared to just coffee with a bit of milk in it. You know, it does have texture and it does pass. And so for a £5, you really can't go wrong. If you are trying to get a nicer drink, maybe a barista quality drink that you're going to be proud to serve to people, that you can be able to learn latte art with, so for the purposes of latte art, it's definitely worth going with a steam wand. But on a budget, you can't go wrong with the whisk. So there you go, steam wand wins. But if you really are on a budget, you're not missing out on much. I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope it was useful to somebody out there. Do let me know if you've got any ideas for what you want me to test in the future, thinking maybe some things around the AeroPress, maybe some things around different coffee beans, different coffee grinds. So with that, this has been Luke Does Coffee. Don't forget, if you want to see more like this, to subscribe, like the video, it helps me out, costs you nothing. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.